G'day, how you doing? I'm Ianapolis here, your acrylic guru from Australia. Welcome to my video tutorial. I just want to get some sizes on the canvas there before we get going in centimetres and inches. And also we'll get some colours going up the screen there for you as well. Something you can jot down. So when you're following along, if you don't have the same colour, that's okay. Just grab something similar and practice along with this until you've developed your craft. Now we're going to do a waterfall. I found a beautiful picture. I'm going to change it up a bit, so I'm going to show you the picture when I bring you over here as well. It's got some beautiful aspects and subjects that I'd like to layer into a painting and be able to show you how to create that onto your own canvas as well. All right, so get on over here, have your coffee, water, and a lot of time and enthusiasm, and let's get right into it. All right. Now here's the picture I found on Upsplash. It's a beautiful waterfall. I love the way it's got the creek with some rocks in the foreground. It's got the actual waterfall with like a depth cave underneath it, showing some dark, and we can have some rock here. I'm just going to put a sky here instead of all this forest, okay? So what I've done, I've masked up the top line of the cliff rock so as I can do my sky, because I don't want any of the retarded paint down here. What happens with that is, even when you dry it for hairdryer, it can lay there rubbery, and when you're painting over it, it doesn't take much to peel it back and start annoying you, okay? So let's get a sky on there. I want a cool sky, so a cool sky is going to be blue, sort of a bluey colour, all right? Now I've got my craft paint here, which is just a soft flowing student paint. I just want to get some retarder mixed with that. And I've got cerulean blue for me sky colour, and I've got a little bit of permanent alizarin there. Give some warmth in the middle of our cool sky. What's a cool colour? A cool colour are the blues and the greens, the cool watery colours. Warm colours are like the reds and orange and yellows, the kind of colours you'll find in a fire. Warm fire, cool water. That's how you can distinguish your warm and cool colours. Get all this up to that tape there. Get a bit more on there. Crisscross it into the canvas. Now I'm using a canvas panel. A good quality canvas cloth has been glued to this panel that I've made. So it's not canvas paper. It's not a stretch canvas. It's a canvas panel. Okay. Now there we go. I'm happy with that. Very happy with that. Now what I've got to do, I'm just going to wipe that on the paper towel. I want to get rid of all this muck along the edge there, just so as I don't pull it into me painting like I've done in previous ones you would have seen, okay? Okay, we're going to get some of the cerulean blue, get that loaded onto my brush. I love this colour, it makes a beautiful real sky colour. And start crisscrossing it into all that white paint. Get it into there. Once you're happy with it, put on, stroke it across. If you feel it's a bit too blue, which I do, add some more white. So I'm going to just pick up some more white. Look at that. You want the lower half of your sky, if anything, lighter blue than the top half. That creates that atmosphere. All right, there we go. I'm going to wipe the brush very simply. You've seen me do this before, and I pick up some of the alizarin, permanent alizarin, just a little bit on there, and just put some in the middle of the sky. Scoot it up and bring it down. That's it. And then just push it through. Don't play with it too much, otherwise you'll peel the blue off the white paint. There we go, that's it, beautiful. Now, who knows how much of this will get covered up with trees? We don't know, but the sky's there anyway. Now I'm going to use some titanium white. I want a fan brush to put the cloud on. And I've just got another daub here. Instead of washing this all the time, I'm going to use this one to add the yumminess to my clouds. So let's get our clouds on the sky first. Then we can add some yumminess to them if they need it. Now this is just going to be in the horizon here, just coming across there like that. Grab a paper towel or a rag or something to wipe your constant blending. Now I want to first just create the top of that cloud. It's on there, this paint is wet. It's got that extender retarder in it, so it's going to stay wet for a while, being acrylic. And I want to create the top of this cloud first. Don't just get in there and blend and hope for the best. Okay, so I'm going to get that like that. Am I happy with that? I'm getting happy with that. That's fine. Now, because it's on the horizon line, I want to bring the bottom of it down now. And with a bit of luck, sometimes it blends with that blue and that permanent alizarin and creates all that shadow there as well. But it's creating a very misty atmospheric cloud down on the horizon line. I might tickle it up there a bit, that's it. I don't want it too glary. There we go. I might put something just about here now, just coming up the sky like that. Now this is getting higher up. What I like to do is give them a bottom of a cloud. This one has no bottom because it's way on the horizon line. I just like to give these ones a bit of a bottom wherever that you think the bottoms are going to be, and then you can blend them, dab the corner of the brush, give it some turmoil, create all that fluffy cloud-like behaviour. Bring your brush over here as well and create some softer stuff. There we go. We're coming down here and we're picking up the smaller fan brush and the cleaner titanium white, and we're going to add the yumminess to the cloud now. The yumminess gives it that third dimension in my opinion, so I'm just putting it on where I feel it might need some boldness, and it puts bits in front and behind each other. Okay, some there, maybe a little bit there. Now you've got that on there, just gently push that back into the cloud, but leaving the brightness of it there, okay? And this is the yumminess. It adds that 3D effect, and it gives your cloud that bullshit effect. All right. There we go. You can see the difference that's done to that cloud. Even if I want, like I stuck this in there off camera. I can put a little bit over here if I want. I'll see how it goes. There we go. It's just a bit brighter than the first layer. Okay. And I don't know if we can maybe put something here. Just like that. Trees are going to cover a lot of this, so who knows. There we go. Now that is a beautiful, simple sky you can paint. If you feel that's a bit beyond your means, trust me, you can do that. Just watch this video just for that part and learn how to blend a cloud, what brush is going to work for you, how to blend that cloud, work out how to put your color on over that white so it's not too cartoony and bright. I mean, even that could be a bit too bright, but still it's not a photo finish perfect painting. Practice just that. Now we're going to get on to the rest of it. So I can take this tape off now. So we'll peel this off, and I'll just dry the top half here with the hairdryer, just so, because the paint I'm put on now, I want it just a little dribble onto that surface there so it sinks it back. Okay, I've dried that. Do yourself a favour, leave the tape on there, don't pull it off, because when we put the trees on, we'll have a clean area here to start doing the rocks, okay? So leave your tape on. We've dried that so we can put the trees on top of it. Now for the trees, I've got forest green and yellow green. If you don't have yellow green, mix up a yellow green with your green and yellow, but more on the yellow side. A yellow green is a green with more yellow in it. A blue green is a green with more blue in it, because blue and yellow make a green, and it'll have more blue in it for a blue green, but this is a yellow green. I've also got, so that's cad yellow, I've got some black. So I want to pretty much map in my tree. So I've got a bit of water displayed on my palette here. I've got a glass palette, painted white on the opposite side so I can see what's on the palette. And I want to use this to map in the tree foliage. And we want to get good transferring. So I want it sort of coming out. So I don't know how to do the, I'll put some in, I'll put the backgrounds in first, so we'll making umbrellas. I'm using, now you can do your trees, whatever brush and your favourite looking trees you like to do. I'm using my flat filbert. I'm leaving bits of blue within the canopy to give it that sense of realism as well. And I'm going to pretty much virtually come to about here, and the same there. So we want this reasonably dark. I've added the water because it's going to help it transfer a lot better. There we go, we'll come to about there. And plus having the water in it helps it dry quicker too. Now this bit here can probably be more solid because it's closer to the ground, and you can see having that tape there instead of taking it off helps not disturbing the bottom layer. And within this we'll separate these trees, foliage and shrub, because you're actually down into this little gorge here in the creek, looking up the rock cliff face there where the waterfall's coming down, and you're looking up at these trees if anything. Okay, down at the bottom where it's hitting the tape, the top of the rock, have that solid, not too much sky showing through there. There we go. Now I'll do the same on the other side. Don't mirror image that. I'm going to sort of come off here, and then I might go a little bit higher up here. Don't want to cover up too much of my beautiful cloud that I've just done. And then I'll probably just come about here. Boom. Now like I said, okay, I'm happy with that. It's not a mirror image of the other side, and we're ready. Now I've got to dry this and do the next procedure. Okay, I've got a deer foot. It's like a stippling. It'll give those black freckles. You want your paint a bit wet. I don't know why I went all the way there. So as we get freckles like that within our painting up there, we don't want blobs like that, okay? And within this, we want to add the pockets of shadow, and the shadows are going to be freckled in. Try not to cover too much of your blue sky that's poking through. If anything, you can darken the bottom, not too much though. Just try and watch what I've done, and if you feel it's confusing you, watch this section of the video a few times just to comprehend, because there's dark bits in all of the green. You look at tree shrubs on the side of the road, wherever they are, even if you squint your eyes to get a gist of it, there's dark pockets everywhere. Okay, and the lighter greens will make that stand out. Okay, everything's dry. Now I want to pick up the yellow green using the same brush that I use for the foliage. Now there's a lot of light up here, so a lot of the light's going to be hitting this beautiful stuff. Put this on in areas, don't just go over the whole thing uniformly and evenly, okay? Leave bits of the dark green there. Get right up there. I'm trying to put different bunches and bowls of green within, leaving the blacks as well, and we'll get the light hitting this with the actual yellow. Now I've grabbed some of that yellow, and this is going to really highlight that now, some areas where the sun's hitting it. And look at it and see, let's just say here for instance, I want a section here being hit with light. So it's going to come down. Load up your brush constantly so it's nice and sharp and getting those foliage shapes. Don't keep going until it gets all blunt looking. Okay, leave some darks at the bottom, get rid of any stampy effects. Get a bit up here, just bits. Let me have a look in the monitor. Yeah, that's looking okay. It looks like light's hitting high and low bits of it all here and there and everywhere. So I can see the top of this higher than there, and then I can see this coming in front of it. That's just what I'm visualizing, to get that in front of that back one there. See, it's running out. I'm loading up the brush again, just so as we get that continuous brush effect on our painting. I mean, this is nothing like the reference picture, but that reference picture has given me a good goal to achieve on my canvas. And there's so many ways you can use a reference picture. I do want to do something to give it a bit of a extra wow factor. Now it's up to you if you add this into your version or not. We've got these low bits. I want to put, say, like something a bit higher up, just that's going to cast a shadow. So I'm going to get the green again and carefully create my top of the higher tree here. Now you don't have to do this, you can if you want. Try and get it looking like a tree. That's looking okay. Get some stuff down here. Now this is going to need a trunk in it. The best kind of trunks for this are dark ones. Yeah, and maybe something just out here in this open. So I like to create the shape of a diamond. If anything, that's like a diamond. And then lighten the foliage to the shrub there. There we go. Pick up some black. Find some underneathy bits and just add your black. Not too much. Don't put big blobs of black into the blue area. Just within this green. Take your time. You take your time, you can achieve this. Same in this one. Just some little dobs of black. That's it, plenty. Okay, we've just put the main trunk down the bush of the tree. Nice and skinny, and these are black. I've just traced some all through here. I did do them before, but the camera wasn't on. So there we go. Okay, I brought that trunk into those bushes because I want to create a shadow there. Now we've done the trunks. We're adding the highlight to this. Everything's been dry. Find where you want to highlight the different groups of trees. I mean the foliage there. Leave dark there. And dribble this over the middle of the trunk here and there as well, okay? Like that, getting it on top of that darker green here and there. Just pockets of it. Now we're going to just wipe that brush and pick up the yellow that's on the board there. Highlight to this now. Now with this tree, I want to add the dead stick colour to get a different feel from the bottom shrub to these trees here, because they're kind of all the same colour. And we want to make them look a bit different. Okay, now I want to, let's say the light's coming from this side, I want to like cast some kind of shadow. So I've just got the forest green, casting some kind of shadow of that tree within the lower bush. It's just what I want to do. Let's hope that's, I'm going to look in the monitor just to see if it's doing what I want it to do. Yes, it is. Now I can just grab the slightest bit of the yellow mixed with the yellow green here, and then just trace some of that back into the light there, just a little bit, just like that. I've dried that. Let's take this tape off now. Now we can block in the waterfall cliff face, the rock for the waterfall to sit on. Now it's going to be, I've got some marks here, so I'll just paint it in and I'll explain it to you as I go. So just to block it in, I've just got a flat brush. I'll wet it in some water there, and I'm just using simple burnt umber on its own to block it in. So to my waterline, I'm going to mask up, which is about here. So I don't have to bring the brown paint any lower than that. And I want to block in all of this just with the brown paint. Now it's a rock, so it can jingle and jangle above that tree a bit like that. Comes straight there, jingle and jangle above the white of your board there into those trees there. This will get a bit darker. Now look at this, it's going to work beautifully because I masked it off. I didn't have all that sky colour under there. Neaten that off with the paintbrush, get the strokes out of there, and now we're going to dry that. Okay, we've dried the rock. Now we want to look like it has a bit of a top, just a bit of a top, the face of it, and then going in. So we need to get tones and shadows in there, okay? We've got the burnt umber. I've got the burnt umber down here as well. I've got some grey and I've got some black. So that's going to be the tone and the shadow. And if we need a bit of tinting in it to give it highlights, we've got some white there. We'll see if we need it. So this half here, I want to tone it up with the grey. So I want to kind of have it dark under there. Under there's all the dark bit, okay? So here is pretty much, I'm leaving just a bit of the top there, and I want to, I've just got this big flat brush and I'm just blending it in. Get a bit more. Scratch it into that brown there. Come up there lightly, lightly, lightly. That's it, leaving a lot of the darks there. Get rid of that line you've put in there. There we go. Looking cool. Now I'll just pick up some black, just on there, and bring into here a bit. Just to get some blacker dark values within here. Where the water might be, there's going to be, so I'm just pretty much touching it and smudging it in. Okay. And now I want to pick up that darker value again and pretty much come under here. So we'll paint this in, let it mix with some of the grey a bit, come up to there, merge that together as well. So under here's a nice darker value.
I added some highlights to the rock face here. The camera was off when I did that, so sorry about that. So I've just added that to the front face of the rocks there, alright?
I've picked up the black and I've just painted it in here. The lower part of this, I've wiped it off the brush and I want to soften it into that darker brown underneath, so we've got a real deep crevice in there. Okay, now I'm grabbing this colour again that had the grey mixed with it, and at the bottom of this black there's probably just a bit of a bank within that cave. The light's hitting it, so hence this is a different colour. Okay, this has got rocks, all sorts of stuff on it. It's up to you how much you detail this. Pick up a bit more, so the light's hitting this. There we go. And we can add some bits of different dark and lighter values on it to make rocks if you want. I'm just using the corner of the brush here, but you can use a different brush if you want. And maybe just a tin of something over here. And then we can put the water in. The light's hitting all this. And just to finish this off, see the green on top here? We need to get our blacks, and I've dried everything. Get the black on top there and coming down where you want green to hit this rock face here. Okay, from about there. Give that a dry, and we'll put the greens on there. Now I'm not going to put the forest green, the light's hitting this, so I want pretty much the yellow green with some of the yellow mixed with it, maybe a bit more yellow. And we want to just bring this stuff that the light's hitting over the top of the rock there. Just continue from the top down. Okay, you can see what it's done. All right, I'm going to pull this tape off and then we can do the water. Okay, now I've got some turquoise for the water, so grab yourself a brush, get it wet a bit, pick up the rest of this retarded flow white, and let's get this on there. Now we're going to get it on there and then we're going to change the value of it. This is just to prime it up pretty much. Liking that. Now we're going to just prime that up with this paint. I could have had more on my thing, but I've run out. Come on, I'll just wet the brush so it'll spread a bit better. Now what I want is I want this turquoise on there. So I'm picking up the turquoise and I want that here. That's the darkest area I want it. That's where I want it, right there. Because this is like a creek up in the hills. Okay, right there like that. Now just wiping the brush, picking up the yellow that I have down here, it's going to create that kind of green. And from just about here, we want this greeny colour. There we go, coming to the shore. There we go. Now we've got to wipe the brush. Now the brush is wiped. I want to come from here and just get that water looking beautiful now. Push it together, push it together. Get this up a bit, there we go. Good stuff, I'm happy with that, that's what I want. Now I have this grey colour here. I want to get a bit more white with it to pale it up a bit, just so as we can bring the foreground in for the front rocks. That colour there. So everything's wet still. We're going to bring this just from the bottom. This is the shallow water now. Get all this dark browny whatnot down here, and then work it up to that water, and then slowly merge those two colours together, just like that. I can get a bit more darker values there. There we go. Now I'm going to slowly hit that black and the brown there in the brush, just to get some shadows in here. Okay, let's stroke that out now. That's it. Okay, for the next bit, we just want some different size flat brushes, just so as we can put some water in. And I want to use the titanium white on its own. No water, no nothing. Just get this so we can control the way the water's going to fall down the rock. So our water's going to hit, and when it's hitting the water, we need that flat bit. So where we want that flat bit, that is just where I'm putting this tape, and it's just a little bit beyond the top of that greeny water there. Don't stick this on real heavy. This is just to stop you going all over the place. And you want these reasonably straight, so we can put wherever we want them. Let's see how we go. Let's put a main one here. So we're going to pretty much come across the top. Not all across the top. I'm stamping this on like that, so as we got water breaking. It ain't a gushing torrent of water coming down, so that's why I'm stamping it on like that. And then we'll find, you want it reasonably straight. Let's hope I can get this straight. Just coming down into the water now. Boom, we're not going to go pretty much past that tape. And that's why I wanted the paint pretty much raw out of the tube, because we can control how it looks on the canvas broken up, okay? There we go, nice and straight. We'll fix this up. We'll get these bodies of water in there for now. We'll get a little one about here somewhere. Going straight over that other, it can go straight over that green there. You do this any way you find yourself doing it. It's great fun. Now we'll put one about here. I think, if anything, I bought the green maybe in a little bit too much, and then this one will just pretty much come down there. Now I'm getting this brush on its edge to get some brighter values within that water coming down like this, see? Just like that. And see, it was good to put that tape there, because you'll see how that's going to help us when I pull the tape off, what we can do. Okay, I've got my distorted flat brush that I use for blending. I want to pick up some of this in the white now. Now it's not a big torrent, it's not coming down with force, so we don't need a lot of mist, but we need enough spray to make it look real. So probably on the bigger one here, we'll start at the bottom. I want to get this like that, all the way along the bottom, coming up to this one, just there like that, a bit here, and a bit there. And then we can start pushing it left and right, and then getting some mist, because it's all wet there. Water mist is just starting to mist. So I'll pull that tape off. We've got it where we want. Now we'll grab that flat brush again. And then these, you don't want them in a flat line. If anything, we'll get all the most of the paint off that. They are sort of in their own misty puddle, going a bit lower and venturing out like that into the lake, okay? Just get a bit on your brush and shape it down like a broad bit there like that. That tape helped keep all this level and manageable. And then this can come along here into a straight line, feathering out as well. I do want to get just some slightest bits of movement in the water here. Alright, what we've got to do now is get our foreground rock. So I've got my burnt umber and I've got some white here. So let's get a value of that made up. Now I've got a small filbert. I want to just get one side burnt umber and the other side of that. Get it bright, there we go. Have your white at the top, and we just want to get some rocks here now. So boom, boom, boom. Do them however you feel. I'm going to try and change them up a bit. Have some ones like that with dark underneath. And we'll just brighten the tops of these up. Okay, I've dried all the dark ones and now I've just got the lighter colour that I had again, and pretty much going to lighten some, putting them in front and behind of each other, okay? Just like this. They might look like rocks, they might not, but I'm pretty sure once it's finished, whoever's looking at this painting would know that there are rocks in the front of the lake, the swamp, the creek. I'm going to get a bit of dark just because I want to, and I want to just get some darker values within all this, mainly at the front, foreground here, okay, and some pockets of darkness within these rocks, just like that. I've got a toothbrush in me cup down there. Alright, look at that. Now we'll just sink these underwater and it's finished. So I've dried this. Now we'll put the water on the top of it. How I'm going to do that is grab this watercolour here, okay, and if you want to do this, get yourself some glazing liquid, okay. This is a gloss glazing. And now that pile I'm putting there is my paint. It's going to be the paint. This colour that we put into it will become opaque, and you'll see through this when it dries, okay? You don't want it too powerful in the colour, so I'll put a bit more there. See, I only needed a bit in there. This is a glazing gloss, okay? So watch what this does. Everything's dry, and we want to bring this in front of those rocks, see? When this dries, it'll look all right. Pretty much there. And if you really want to be clever, you can paint some more rocks poking through this water here. Now that'll dry. I've got some white paint, but it's very dirty white. Get what you want to use just to put some ripples in the water and sink these down so it'll look like the surface of the water is over the top of them. It's just movement on the water. Now in the actual reference picture that I showed you in the beginning, these rocks are out of the water, but I wanted them under. Now I've just wiped that brush and those lines that I've put on while that water's still wet. I'm just smudging these through so they're not so loud. Okay, I think I want some longer ones, about there. Wipe your brush while it's wet and smudge that through. It's drying on me. Anyway, let's put a signature on this as well. Okay, be sure to check out the links in the description below. All my tutorial paintings are for sale. There's a PayPal link there to help you buy a painting. There's a lot of other links there. There's about 9 there. There's a Patreon one there. I want to thank all my patrons that support me and keep my channel going. It's people like you that keep me going. There's my art group link, a link to the bloopers, all sorts down there. Okay, let's get Steve's footprint on there and my whacker frame on this. All right, I'll just get this side tape off. Okay, that don't look too shabby. We've got our water going, a bit of a cave under the rocks there, water coming over, got a beautiful sky, some foliage coming over the rocks and some stones underneath the creek here, or the swamp or whatever it is, or the creek, yeah. And just remember, you can do that, okay? So thank you once again for everyone that supports me and follows my channel here. And if you're new, share, like and subscribe. And if you like what I'm doing, be sure to tell your family and friends. But if you don't like what I'm doing, you tell everybody, all right? All the best, goodbye, good luck, and good on ya.